Hey YouTube, this is Matt with Olympus Reptiles, and right now I'm risking life and limb to bring you great video footage because this snake could get pissed and bite me in the face at any minute, and babies tend to do that. So let's not get bit in the nose. This is a clutch update video for clutch number 12, and this is of course 181201. It is a little female lesser, and just a gorgeous one at that. Now this is my second try at filming this video because Kurt goes, "Hey, what's the pairing?" And I went, I had to think and go check the records and remember what it was. Was a lesser female named Celine paired to two different daddies. So this is kind of a who's your daddy clutch. And those two would be a lesser pastel, possible sulfur male, and also a lesser male. Why do we do two daddies that are so similar, you may ask? Well, it's really simple. We were using that lesser sulfur or lesser pastel. We've used him quite a bit. His name is Cerastus. Cerastus started not eating really well, pretty normal during breeding season, but he also started dropping weight. And so I actually rotated him out of my breeding cycle plans for the year, or for the time, because he needed to eat and he didn't need to work anymore. So we waited till he was getting food in him and growing and doing good before we put him back into breeding plans at the end of the year. But in the meantime, we needed to continue breeding, so our backup male got the call, which was a single gene lesser. Makes sense? So that's how we have two daddies, but our main goal was Bells. The pastel was kind of an extra kicker. So if you see pastel, then obviously that's who the daddy is. If not, it could be either one. Now on this one, I think it's just a really nice lesser. Not really seeing pastel. I would expect the head to be a lot more blushed if it was, but a really cool snake nonetheless. Put this one back up. Get out number 2 for you. 181202 is also a female. Now, oh wait, no, go hide. This one is a lot darker lesser. As a matter of fact, I want to compare those two for you, because for a while we thought maybe we did have the pastel as the daddy, but I don't think we did. I think it's just as they've kind of aged and shed, I think it's just a difference in the two. But look at that. It is night and day. Now, this one is very blushed. You could have pastel in there and it just not be quite what I'm really looking for in my lesser pastels to say, there it is. Again, because I'd expect more head blushing. But compared to this one, I mean, those look like two different snakes. So quite possibly in this one you do have it, but this one is certainly just a lesser. But it is a female. Which means when you put those on Patreons, guess what the first snake to go is going to be? 181201. Because someone's going to be hoping to hit that. Here is another one that is just a lesser, also a female. We hit lots of girls in this clutch, so that is good. That was the Overhand Cream Abdul-Jabbar Skyhook with snake poop you just missed. And again, really nice looking lesser, but just probably a lesser. Definitely just a lesser. So put her back and go to 181204. You ready for it? Another female. Sometimes the odds are nice to you. And now we're not having just a lesser. That is probably the most perfect super lesser I've ever laid eyes on. What I mean is when you're talking about super lessers being perfect, it comes down to just that, the eyes. And no, not because the eyes are blue, which hers certainly are. Her eyes are perfect. Typically, super lessers have an eye that's a little bit larger than usual, a little bit of bug eyeing. It's not a big deal because when you breed it, it's only going to pass on lesser, and they can still see just fine. So it's not going to pass on any problems. It's going to pass on single gene lesser because it can't pass on both genes. It's genetically impossible. And that's why you don't hear people complain about super lessers being bug-eyed the same way they bitch about spiders. Nobody complains about lesser, even though it has that tendency, and we still use the crap out of it. But that is about excellent. Get her all the way out so you can really kind of see her unfold. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous all-white snake. And bells are one of those things that are just a staple in the market. They are, I mean, they're a great animal. And that brings us to 181205, which is another bell. Now, if you look at this one has a typical super lesser eyes. They are slightly bigger than normal, the other one does not have. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to the eyes. These aren't huge. I've seen much, much bigger, but you can see they are bigger than what the other ones showed. I think that look is more prominent on an all-white snake because it tends to be, easy to observe. But otherwise, the snake is a pretty good, solid snake, and this one is a male. So we had one female and one male bell. Boop. And they are definitely gorgeous animals. And that is 181205. All right, you're thinking 181205. That doesn't sound right. There was more babies than that. And you're right. There was 7 eggs. If I remember right, one of them had pipped wrong. I think this was the clutch where we lost one. But the other one isn't in here yet. Let's go take a look at it. I want to show this baby to you. I know there's a lot of people who are wanting an update on this baby. And we're going to give it to you right now because it is clutch update time. Now, if we go to Patreon, this baby will be available when the time comes, but it'll take a while for you to get it ready. Here's why. 181206 is still in here on paper towels. This was that snake that was born teeny, teeny, tiny. Really, really little. So I've kept it separate still. Now, this thing is eating now on its own. All right? So it actually was assist fed at first. Now it's eating on its own. This is one that didn't absorb any yolk. And with that, it came out extremely small. And you can actually see the fissure all along its body through there. But it's developing really well, doing wonderful. It also, it looks like it's shed, but here's the weird part. I cannot find skin in there anywhere yet, and I just noticed it looking like it shed today. So I'm going to go ahead and change its paper towel out, and it had a bowel movement, which is good. But until it sheds and until everything's fully healed up, which we could probably go ahead and move it now because you can actually see that while that's still showing, there's nothing open where the umbilicus was attached. So it probably is big enough to get a real tub now. But I have kept it, and my idiot cat making noise, separate because of that. Wanting to make sure that it was well cared for until, and on a paper towel until it did shed, until it was all healed. So this was that snake that was born extremely light that we told you we would update you on, and I am very, very happy with it and its progress. Kurt, do you have any questions about that little guy?
No.
All right. And here's the thing, too, okay? For those of you like, oh, our breeder's making all kinds of money. And, yeah, we do this, and yeah, we do sell our snakes, and yeah, we do run our Patreon, and yeah, we do have income that comes off of it that we reinvest. But if you went by the hours worked on a little snake like this, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. So you put time and effort into an animal like this because you give a shit. And if I didn't care, this would not be worth my time, work, and effort. And as you can see, it obviously is because it was born way behind the 8 ball, and I've done everything I can to make sure it's going to thrive, and it's starting to thrive. Why? Because I care about my animals. And I've done this with a normal before, too, which definitely isn't the time monetarily. But because it is a life that is in this world because I wanted to do something, that makes it worth the time. And I owe it to that animal to give it the best chance to survive, right? So if you're going to breed, well, you have to focus on the money to an extent if you're going to run it as a hobby or a hobby business or a real business. You have to have that in your mind. You also have to have the human element, the connection to the animal in your mind as well. And you really have to kind of give them the time when they need and put them first, even if it's not a big money snake, even if it's a single gene or a normal. All right, anything else we got off here, Kurt?
No.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. And of course, we'll be on Patreon a little later, and we will be doing a live sale on these. So join us there if you're a Patreon member when the time comes, and have a chance to pick up some of those. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.